We're going to pick up the story of Isaac's life in the middle of chapter 25. And we find in verse 19 that Isaac is 40 years old and he marries Rebekah. We saw that yesterday. And then, but she couldn't have children. And Isaac prays for her, and the Lord gives her children. Matter of fact, he gives her two children, twins, Esau and Jacob. It says in verse 23 at the end, the older shall serve the younger. So right from the get-go, we know God's promise, Jacob is going to be the leader here. Ultimately, Esau would be subservient to him. Esau was red all over. We get some of his descendants moved to Edom, which is the word means red, and that's where you find the descendants of Esau. He was red all over like a hairy garment, so apparently a very manly, outdoors kind of guy. And he was, as we find in verse 27, we have this whole skipping over of their childhood. We'd like to have known more, but I guess we didn't need to know it. But we find that Esau is a skillful hunter. He's an outdoors kind of guy, rugged kind of dude, I guess. Jacob was a peaceful man. He lived in tents. Later on, when he cooks a wonderful stew, we find that he's a cooker as well. So Esau and Jacob are very, very different men. And as a result of that, we find just a little insight into their home life here. It says that Isaac loved Esau, and the only reason we're given as to why he loved Esau was because he had a taste for game. So he liked the food that Esau cooked for him. He liked the venison or whatever else it might be. And what a reason to love one son over the other, right? But that shows the dynamic going on in the home. Maybe throughout their growing up, Esau had always shown more of a manly characteristics, and Isaac appreciated that and liked that. But then we're told immediately that Rebekah loved Jacob. So it doesn't tell us why she loved Jacob. Maybe because Isaac loved Esau. Maybe just because he was in the tent a lot cooking with his mother. We don't completely know. Later on, we find that Jacob is not exactly a pushover. So he's not that for sure. But we find that as we come more into the text here, that this incredible story where Esau comes in from the game, shooting the game, and as he comes in, he's famished. So apparently he's been out in the wilderness for a while, and he probably hasn't caught anything, and certainly doesn't have any food set up. So he comes in, and he's famished, verse 29, and he looks at what Jacob has cooked. Now this seems to be contrived. Seems to be that Jacob has planned perhaps ahead so that when Esau shows up, he's going to be tempted to do something foolish. We can't really be sure of that, but it could be simply happenstance, but it does happen. Esau says to Jacob, verse 30, let me have a swallow of that red stuff there. I think the King James says it, let me have a swallow of that there red stuff. Very, very interesting way to say things. He says, for I'm famished, so I need some food. You've got a nice stew there. It's apparently red in coloration, and he wants some. Well, Jacob apparently has been thinking this through, and he says, well, sell me your birthright. Now, I'll give you a bowl of stew here, maybe several bowls, I don't know, if you will sell me your birthright. Now, a birthright in that time was the one that was given to the eldest son usually, and the eldest son would be then the heir apparent. He would become the leader of the home. He would inherit most of the wealth and properties and so forth. The other sons would be underneath him, and he would be the new monarch of the family. And so to sell your birthright was a big deal. That meant that now you are no longer going to be the heir apparent. You're no longer going to receive the substantial amount of inheritance. But he does it, and he says, behold, I'm about to die, so what use is there the birthright to me? If I die, now that's rather preposterous, isn't it? He's not going to die because he's skipping a meal here, but that's what he says. And so Jacob said, swear to me. So he swore, and he sold his birthright to Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and a little stew, and he ate and drank and rose and went away on his way. And thus Esau despised his birthright. There's no question that Jacob tricked him, and his name means trickster, and he's a trickster. But it says here in the text that Esau despised his birthright. He's the one condemned in Scripture. And Hebrews 12:16 says the exact same thing. So it's no accident. He is considered to be the one in the most wrong here. He has given away, he sold his birthright for just a bowl of chili. What a sad thing. People do stupid things when they're not walking with God, and Esau's a wonderful example of that.